Here is something nobody mentions about the recent carbon tax repeal, which probably has you thinking your grocery bills are about to drop. The hidden industrial supply chain costs are quietly pushing prices up. Because of this, most Canadian households are only an emergency away from a serious food problem. We have a list of 20 Costco staples, counting down to number 1. By the end, you will see how a single overlooked item completely changes your household security. The real danger is not empty shelves, but food becoming unaffordable exactly when you need it. The Prime Minister removed the consumer portion of the carbon tax in March 2025. That made everyone assume the worst inflation was behind us. We all watched gas prices settle down and took a collective breath. But the manufacturing and distribution logistics costs remained entirely intact. The systems transporting your food from the farm to the warehouse and store are still paying it. That massive logistical cost gets passed directly to you on the shelf. It silently embeds tightly into the price of every single item you buy. You cannot see the tax on the receipt, but your wallet feels it. The Bank of Canada recently noted that food inflation picked up again. This happened specifically because rising pressure from late 2024 worked its way through the system. You feel that impact every single week when your bill jumps another $20 for the exact same cart of food. This is not just about eggs costing more. It is about the fundamental cost of staying alive in Canada. This inflation is not a temporary glitch, but the new structural reality of the Canadian supply chain. The longer you wait to accept this, the more money you lose to invisible forces. A sudden winter storm can lock down roads, or regional infrastructure might fail. When that happens, prices do not just creep up, they spike instantly. The entire system operates on fragile, just-in-time logistics. Stores do not keep a massive backroom full of extra pallets anymore. So today's delivery is today's inventory. When trucks stop running even for a single day, gaps appear quickly. Things disappear faster than anyone expects once people reach for the same essentials. Relying on the local grocery store for daily meals during a severe freeze is risky. Store trips during an emergency become a frantic gamble against whatever disruption hit that morning. You do not want to play that game. These 20 items offer immediate, practical insurance on shelves right now. They aggressively protect you against those invisible economic forces, forcing prices higher. They shield you from the physical realities of winter, but you will want to stay until the absolute end. The item sitting at number 1 acts as the critical key to making everything else in your pantry actually work. Almost nobody buys enough of it, yet it changes everything. Let us count them down. At number 20, we have bulk white rice. Every serious conversation about long-term food storage starts right here. There is a brilliant chemical reason for that. Its inherent starch stability explains why it is absolutely mandatory for any household preparing for uncertainty. White rice lasts indefinitely. If you simply keep it dry and sealed away from pests, it gives you raw, digestible calories when absolutely nothing else is fresh or available. You buy a massive bag of Basmati or jasmine rice once, and it sits in your basement for years without degrading. You are locking in today's grocery price forever, effectively beating the inflation curve before it happens. The real value appears next year when basic carbohydrates double in price because of unseen transportation taxes. You pull from the bucket in your basement. It provides quiet insurance, asking nothing of you until you need it. We move directly to number 19, rolled oats. You can grab the giant boxes of Quaker or the generic store brand to establish your ultimate winter-ready breakfast fuel. Oats provide an immediate psychological morale boost and high satiety during freezing mornings. They fill your family up fast while costing literally pennies per serving to prepare. Energy volatility inevitably drives heating costs high, forcing you to keep the thermostat low. When this happens, an internal heat source makes a massive difference. Dense, complex carbohydrates actively regulate your blood sugar and keep your internal temperature steady. They require minimal cooking time and only boiling water. This smartly saves whatever backup fuel source you have left in the garage. This naturally brings us to number 18, Kirkland Signature Pasta. It handles supply chain hiccups perfectly, effectively ignoring the chaos happening outside your home. The dry extrusion process removes all moisture, giving it a massive, multi-year shelf life. That means you effectively do not have to worry about regional power outages ruining your food. Buy multi-packs and stash them in plastic bins in the basement. They will be exactly the same whenever you finally get around to boiling them. They represent stable calories that logistical taxes cannot inflate anymore once they are safely inside your house. Using a single box stretches whatever small amounts of meat you have left, and it creates a thick, filling meal for the whole family. For numbers 17 and 16, we intentionally pair bulk flour and sugar together. These two bare elements form the absolute foundation for baking sustenance when the roads are completely impassable. Flour gives you the basic ability to make bread, heavy biscuits, and thickeners for thin emergency soups. Sugar gives you essential fast-burning calories. Its chemical properties also actively act as a powerful preservative for other foods. It draws moisture out of bacteria, stopping rot before it starts. Together, they allow you to create fresh, warm calories when the local grocery store is entirely inaccessible. They actively shift you from being a passive consumer, hoping for the best, to becoming the active producer of your own basic food supply. At number 15, we are looking at canned beans. They effortlessly serve as the critical structural ingredients for hearty winter soups, stews, and thick chilies. The commercial canning process guarantees they will be perfectly safe. They are ready to heat when fresh produce completely runs out at the store. They provide incredibly cheap protein and dense fiber. Yet people constantly pass them by because they falsely assume fresh is always better. Canned beans are a highly secure investment against rapidly rising meat costs. They require no overnight soaking and no hours of constant boiling over an expensive emergency stove. You just pop open the can and add them directly to the rice we talked about earlier to form a complete protein profile. This points us straight to number 14, canned tomatoes. Their strong acidic base is fundamentally crucial for creating palatable meals out of your dry, bland goods. That intense natural acidity actively prevents bacterial growth. It offers a secure, multi-year shelf life without complicated chemical preservatives. Canned tomatoes bring bright flavor and necessary moisture to whatever dry ingredients you cook. They rapidly transform simple items into a rich meal. It is about providing a vital sense of comfort when things are chaotic outside. Canned tomatoes cut the endless monotony of dry survival rations. They make emergency food taste like something your family actually wants to eat. These items form the solid foundation. They are incredibly simple, cost almost nothing right now, and sit quietly on the shelf. But this is exactly where things can escalate. We move past foundational staples into mid-tier items that people chronically underestimate. Item 13 is Kirkland Signature Canned Tuna. It is a high-quality source of protein that requires absolutely zero cooking, and it gives you a major tactical advantage. The heavy-duty industrial retort pouch process and intense canning sterilization make it safe. You have perfectly safe meat ready the exact second you pull the tab. When the stove goes freezing cold and municipal water stops running, your body can quickly start consuming its own muscle to survive. Canned tuna stops that dangerous physical process instantly, with no preparation and no cleanup. You get rich protein you can eat sitting in the pitch dark, keeping your strength up when it matters most. Next, at number 12, Costco canned chicken offers the rare, incredible advantage of pre-cooked stability. It is a highly effective way to secure vital protein. You do not have to spend a second worrying about an expensive freezer maintaining power. One large can goes a long way when combined with rice and diced tomatoes, providing enough to feed an entire family. It quickly turns boring emergency rations into a familiar dinner they will eat without complaining. In the process, you avoid the massive, heartbreaking waste of hundreds of dollars of rotting raw meat in a dead freezer. But we really need to talk about heavy endurance right now. At number 11, we have Spam and other robust canned meats. Many people actively avoid this aisle until a major emergency actually hits, and that is a huge mistake. The intense sodium and thick fat preservation provide truly incredible calorie density. This matters when your body burns massive energy just trying to stay warm. Spam fed armies through brutal world wars, and it helped sustain entire civilizations. It serves as a shelf-stable survival food, ready for deployment. The high salt content helps keep it safe from spoilage. The dense fat helps keep you moving when temperatures drop dangerously below freezing. This perfectly leads to number 10, pure raw honey. It is a genuinely crucial Canadian staple that absolutely belongs in every single pantry right now. It has extremely low internal moisture, and it naturally contains gluconic acid. This fascinating chemical composition ensures it absolutely never goes bad. Archaeologists have found edible honey in ancient Egyptian tombs. It is a powerful, long-lasting, natural sugar that effortlessly outlasts almost everything else in your house. It immediately offers an active advantage when supply chains fracture. As an added benefit, it acts as a proven natural remedy for severe sore throats and coughs when local pharmacy shelves are stripped completely bare. Number 9 brings us to natural maple syrup. Its very high sugar concentration inhibits aggressive microbial growth, which makes it an exceptionally stable item. It is a remarkably dense source of fast calories. But more importantly, it serves as a massive psychological morale booster during brutally dark winter weeks. You have to remember that human morale often collapses long before physical bodies do. Proudly serving warm oatmeal or pancakes coated with real maple syrup actively changes the emotional tone for your frightened family. It powerfully signals that things are still fundamentally okay, even if the fragile city grid is completely down right outside your frosted window. Morale fuel is not quite enough on its own, which is why number 8 is bulk nuts and heavy trail mix. The intense fat content per gram immediately gives you quick, highly usable energy. International trade tensions and aggressive tariffs actively mess with vital cross-border supplies. When that happens, having dense snacks secured early becomes deeply critical. You really do not want to be fighting over overpriced, stale remnants later when everyone else finally panics. This critical fat content connects directly to everything we discuss next. It lets you easily hand a simple bag of trail mix to a hungry child and solve the immediate problem instantly. You safely resolve hunger without touching your precious emergency stove fuel. At number 7, we decisively secure those crucial fats with large bottles of extra virgin olive oil or avocado oil. Liquid fat is totally non-negotiable for brutal winter survival. You absolutely need immense caloric density and lipid stability. They keep your body functioning in the terrible cold. A single glass bottle effortlessly offers many thousands of calories. Astonishingly, these oils require absolutely zero preparation space or extra water to consume safely. You do have to mindfully rotate these bottles out yearly. Keeping a constant, fresh supply ensures you can safely cook. Processing the dry goods from our very first foundational list becomes impossible without it. These crucial mid-tier items violently bridge the dark gap between painful survival and actually living reasonably well during a prolonged crisis. But right before we reach the critical top items, we need to honestly address the popular choices shoppers mistakenly prioritize. Before we fully cover our top choices, we want to closely examine the purchases offering the highest possible return on your investment when things actually fall apart. Number 6 is Kirkland Organic Peanut Butter. It aggressively provides extremely dense, rich caloric energy in a remarkably small package. The natural peanut oil stability and massive protein integration provide immense value, and you get a truly massive return on the small shelf space. You can safely eat it with a plastic spoon in the pitch dark, satisfying hungry kids instantly while providing the sustained fat necessary to keep critical body temperatures up during a winter power outage. It requires no clean water and no heat to consume. This makes it a highly efficient emergency food that is available today. That brings us to a controversial choice. At number 5, the large emergency food buckets from ReadyWise or Augustin Farms. These heavily marketed doomsday kits are often sold as a perfect all-in-one solution for modern preparedness. They remove almost all internal moisture by freeze drying, which provides stated shelf lives of up to 25 years. You will sometimes find them stacked at Costco, and they are genuinely worth buying as a deep backup layer. But they should not be your core plan. Treat them as a last resort rather than a daily strategy against crippling grocery inflation. Use them to supplement the cheap bulk staples you rotate regularly to protect against rising supply chain costs. This brings us to number 4, nutrient survival. Number 10, heavy metal cans. These cans use advanced nitrogen flushing to push realistic shelf life to several decades. They provide highly secure, long-term, nutrient-dense food. Use them when access to fresh food is completely cut off. They give up cooking versatility, but they offer absolute reliability. They perform when you have zero time to cook, and they represent pure calorie security for the moments when utility power fails and you need complete nutrition instantly. Now we must urgently return to absolute essential fats. With number 3, massive containers of pure coconut oil. The intensely saturated fat found in coconut oil is unbelievably stable, simply sitting at regular room temperature for very extended periods. It is incredibly versatile for providing reliable, high energy when you need it. It lasts significantly longer on the shelf than standard olive oil. It is a critical biological component. We strongly need it for turning foundational dry goods into dense, sustaining meals. Use it for high heat cooking or heavy baking. It can even serve as emergency skincare in a brutal pinch. And that is exactly why number 2 is the absolutely giant plastic tub of Kirkland Signature ground coffee. The precise industrial sealing process uses targeted nitrogen flushing to keep it fresh for an incredibly long time. A critical city water main breaks, or a deep freeze hits. These sudden, massive urban failures demand powerful psychological normalcy anchors. We saw that clearly with the catastrophic Bear Spa feeder main failure recently in Calgary, when societal chaos unfolded incredibly fast. Strong coffee tells your panicked brain that some basic things are still functioning, grounding you in reality. If those disruptions drag on, massive plastic tubs quickly become trusted barter items in a fractured community. Take a quick second and look at that list before we reveal the absolute, final, crucial item. These specific items provide basic normalcy and densely packed raw energy, giving you the biggest tactical advantage. They help lock in low prices today, while preserving your future options, acting as the ultimate hedge against uncertainty. The absolute number one critical item on this entire list is cheap, bulky Kirkland Signature salt. Remember when I said one item makes everything else work? This is it. It is not a fancy survival kit or an expensive freeze-dried military ration. Honestly, almost nobody has nearly enough of it properly stored to handle a genuine deep disruption. You need heavy bulk salt to control dangerous moisture. It lets you cure meats and preserve fragile vegetables. You cannot safely process or preserve fresh food effectively without it. This is why it proudly sits unchallenged at number one. It is hilariously the cheapest single item, yet easily the most deeply vital for safe, long-term household security. True, lasting resilience against wild energy volatility and continuing industrial carbon prices comes from decentralized household food security. Smart people will come through it safely without suffering deep financial pain. They bought the right bulk staples ahead of time. Deep preparation is a coldly rational economic decision, not mindless panic. Go check your kitchen pantry now. Count exactly how many of the 20 vital items you have saved and whether they are in usable quantities. Subscribe to the channel so you can build your smart, safe stockpile before the next vicious supply shock hits.